Hi there. My name is Hitesh, and I'm the sole proprietor here at Equanimous Consulting, my product management consulting company that I just launched. And in this video, I will introduce myself, my journey so far, and what I can do to help you and your products. So let's begin. Let's talk a little bit about product management consulting. What exactly is it? Well, short answer is it depends. The generic answer is when you hire a product management professional um, to leverage their expertise, experience, and skills to support or solve your product problems, that's when you are getting into product management consulting. And now, how I would be able to help you will really largely depend on what is the stage of your product, what is the stage of your mindset, your team, your company, and what you guys are looking for. In general, there are many aspects of product management, but all of these could be bucketed into two broad aspects. One is the strategic one, and the other one is tactical one, as you may know. Under strategy, product vision, goals, business cases, build versus buy type of decisions, they fall under the strategy. And when it comes to tactical, there is, nitty gritty details of product requirements, converting those requirements into requirement documentation, PRDs, prioritization, use cases, and productization journey, etc. All of those fall under the tactical one. There are many other functions that you can easily Google up, but they will mostly fall under these two broad categories of productization of product management. Then there are additional things that are a combination of multiple of these or in betweens that act as a glue to help you transition from one stage to the other. And there are many, many other subtleties and nuances that an experienced product manager, uh, you know, gets to experience and bring to the table. Now, I can take complete onus of your products and become your product manager on a contract basis, or I can augment your team of skilled product managers to help bring in my experience as a product manager, which we'll get into in a little bit. I could also be a sounding board. Sometimes you just need a sounding board where you can bounce some good ideas, some strategies, and see how they see the reaction or how they would be interpreted and get an outside in perspective. Um, Being a PM to me is a lot more about mindset rather than about less about skill set. If you have the right mindset and the right approach for a successful product manager, then I think you will automatically go figure out your skills and your tools that you need to do your job right and to do a really effective job, I should say. So when it comes to actual work, there are many different ways in which we can work together, and I will roll up my sleeves and get to work with you once we decide what the rules of engagement are going to be. Um, Now, to bolster my street cred as a good product manager with you, I'm going to talk about two concepts out of the many. The first one I call 5 stages of continuum in product, and it sort of represents itself like these 5 circles, as you may see. It's a little difficult, but there is a learn circle, there is adapt, there is plan and articulate, there is execution, and then there is rinse and repeat. So what I mean by that is in every journey or in every product, there is, or rather on a day-to-day basis, product managers find themselves in one of these circles or maybe in multiple of these circles. And that's the skill or the art part, right? You're always learning. You're learning from your products. You're learning from your internal stakeholders, from your customers, from external stakeholders. And there's a lot of internalization happening. Then comes the stage of adopting and adapting. You pick things that you really want to and think makes sense to pick up. You discard the rest, and then you adapt your thinking, your strategy, your next steps. They could just be thought processes, or they could be product strategies, product roadmaps, and things like that. The next stage is where you actually plan and articulate this with the team, and it's not enough that you internalized it and you've seen it, but it is important for you to articulate in a way that everybody else in the team and the company also gets on board. And then begins the hard work of execution on this plan. It's not always easy to pivot from a certain path and change direction and focus on something new. But and that is, a harsh reality of being a product manager, that you do end up changing gears and changing direction to avoid a disaster at the end of the tunnel. And then, you rinse and repeat. You do this all over again until you are really confident that what you're working on is actually a good fit. And then you go ahead and launch it. So that's one concept, the 5 stages of continuum in product management. The second is what I call the cross-functional hotspot of a product manager. You might have seen a version or two of this online where there is a three-circle diagram that intersects design, engineering, and business, and PM is in the middle. I don't think by any means this is a complete version of what my interpretation is for that, or for a product manager's role, but it comes close. So the way I interpret it is, it's not just the design, engineering, and business, but also there is data and insights involved into this. There is also a backdrop of people in general, where people represent everybody, right? Your stakeholders, your customers, your internal and external partners. Because no matter what we do, we are always in the people business. I like to say that if it's a B2B or a B2C product or B2C product, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, every product is touched by people, is serves a certain problem that people want to be, see people want be solved, gives them delight, touches invokes their emotions, and works with the overall psychology of people when they see the product and whether they accept it or not. So a product manager needs to be cognizant of all of these flavors and many, many more while making product decisions. May not really have a tactical impact right away, but these should definitely come into mind when influencing the product strategy and the broader vision of product. So now to switch gears a little bit and talk about me. I have a different approach here. All my accomplishments, academic as well as professional, my recommendations, they can all speak to themselves. They're all available on LinkedIn, and I can send you my resume as well. What none of them will tell you is where I've failed. Only I can tell you that. And I can tell you for sure that I've had my share of failures in interviews, in timing my product to market. Uh, Sometimes my features haven't really worked as I thought that they would work, but I've never let any of these failures go to waste. I have internalized them very well, and I've learned from them. I've learned a lot more than what I've learned from my successes, because unless you fail, you really don't know what can go wrong and what will go wrong on your product development and product management journeys. So what these failures have done to me is they've made me into an infinite learner, or even bolstered the importance of being an infinite learner in my mind. What I mean by that is, I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly upgrading myself and updating myself by asking relevant and timely questions. I will never be the one speaking first in the room, or I should say, I'm mostly always the last person in the room to be talking. Because guess what? When I talk last, I get to listen to everybody's opinion and everybody's perspective. The second thing about my personality and about my approach is that I am tremendously insights driven. So data driven is great, but then that only says half the story. If you have a lot of data, you can't really drive that data, drive decisions based on just data. You need to be able to convert that data into meaningful and actionable insights. And I strive to derive insights out of any data, that is any conversation, any form of data that I can get my hands on. The third aspect is being gritty. Grit is just a bedrock of everything that I do and everything that I can, put my hands onto. Because being gritty, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. To me, it is the ability to withstand adversities without really losing the end goal in sight and end goal in mind. Just being adamant and stubborn doesn't mean you're being gritty. Being gritty sometimes can actually be letting it go, come back to it after things have sorted themselves out, or when the timing is better and things like that. So Each one of these we can go on in a lot more details, as you can appreciate and imagine. But these three elements are what I would like to leave you with. So infinite learner, being insights driven, and being gritty by personality. So at the end, what I would like to say is I have a lot of enthusiasm to help people out. I have helped people deliver great products in the past. And if you see there is synergies for us to work together, please reach out to me using one of the links below, either on my LinkedIn profile or shoot me an email or book a slot on my Calendly, and we can talk how to collaborate together. And um, yeah, thank you for your time again watching this video.